Hello and welcome to another week of Ask Lampard. Get straight into it. First question from Jeff Okila. How excited are you, Frank, to be in the playoffs of MLS? Keep up the good work, by the way. Obvious answer, very excited. I think Friday night against Chicago, disappointed not to play the game, but it was a great atmosphere at the stadium. We certainly reached our goal, our first goal of the season, the way we wanted to. I think we worked very hard to get into the playoffs, and a club like us, with the squad we have, the club of New York City, has to try and get to the playoffs. And I think now the real hard work begins. We're very determined to get into the playoffs on a good run, and obviously continue it there and try and get to the MLS Cup final. But yes, excited, delighted we're there, and can't wait for them to start. AJC, will you be writing an update to your autobiography? Good question. I wrote my autobiography probably in my mid-20s, which is pretty early for a life story as such, although pretty common these days. I possibly would. I basically wanted to concentrate on my career now, having written one quite early. I think it was very important to not write too much over the years about yourself and wait until you get to the end of your football career at least. So it's something I'll certainly consider towards the end of my career, and I know I'm getting there, but maybe when I actually finish, looking back, and maybe it could be a more interesting story looking back over my whole career at that point. Callum Tate, aside from the obvious, which other Premier League team do you have a soft spot for? Okay, well, I guess the obvious is Chelsea. I speak about them a lot here, so no need to go on that one too much, I suppose. The second one might be slightly obvious, would be Man City. I had never envisaged playing at Manchester City at that point in my career, but I have to say the fans, staff, everybody at the club from top to bottom, and the players took me in so well in that year that I was there, that I have nothing but appreciation for that and enjoyed my time there. And I certainly have a soft spot for them now. And one outsider would be Swansea City, which is a club where I went on loan for 2 months at 17 years of age. They were in the second division of the old second division at that point, and they've come a long way, and I've been delighted to see them come that way. Eddie Cerner, what type of music do you listen to get in the zone? I'm pretty easy with the music. I personally like house music, dance music, and if I'm working away like I'm working in the gym on the moment and spinning on the bike or running, I have that on my iPhone, listening to that. But I'm not too dominant in the dressing room. I let the lads get on with it, which means I have to put up with a lot of Costa Rican music or South American music, and it's good. It gets you kind of in the mood, but I've got no idea what they're singing about. From John, hi Frank, my question is, can you remember any strange pre-match rituals your teammates have had over the years? There have been a few. At Chelsea, we were very phasey. I used to do it personally, some of my rituals, but John Terry was strong into his rituals, and they would change depending on runs of form, etc. But I do remember John at one point in pre-match meal could only eat 5 potatoes with his meal, so he would go over to the buffet and literally pick out 5, not 6, not 4, not 10. It was 5 every time. He had that for a while. Joe Cole had a really good one where he couldn't touch the football in the dressing room before the game. So normally people are flicking the ball, kicking the ball around, and flicking it to each other, whatever. And Joe had a real phobia of it. He thought it meant he'd play a bad game, so he'd be sitting kind of in the corner, trying to keep his feet out of the way of anything touching him. Otherwise, it would have brought him bad luck. So they're the ones that stick in my mind. But yeah, at Chelsea we had some crazy ones with depending on runs of form. But I think there were 2 that came out in my mind there. Jonathan Denser, do you have or will you adopt any playoff traditions? For example, no shaving like in the NHL. Again, carrying on from my last answer, I suppose I'm phasey personally, and when I'm in a good phase, I do certain things. The no shaving one, I'm not keen on, because I got injured once at Chelsea a few years back, and I decided not to shave till I was fit. But every day I started to look more and more like my dad. He's got a big beard, and the amount of people that commented on that, and it had to go. I wanted to stay young, so the beard doesn't get too long anymore. I may pick up some strange little quirks in the playoffs, and if we keep winning and we go all the way, then so be it. Roscoe, you're the manager. Pick your best five-a-side team made up of MLS players. Good question. I'm going to leave out my teammates because I think that'd be very easy for me to go through 4 or 5 of our players. I think a goalkeeper that has really, well, a lot of goalkeepers have stood out to me this year, but I'm going to go for Hamid at DC United. I've seen a few performances of his, one particular against the Red Bulls a few weeks ago where he made some really world-class saves and kept them in a game that they ended up drawing. I think he's a very talented and relatively young keeper, so I'll put him in goal. In defence, I'll have to have Ashley Cole. I'm going to go very attacking, so Ashley's going to have a lot of responsibility, which might be a bit too much for him, but one of the greatest players I've played with in my career, still doing it, still fit, still fresh, flying up and down the wing, and I'll put Ashley there at the back. In midfield, or someone who can do defensive and attacking work, would be Nagby at Portland. Very impressed with him when we played them, very impressed when I watched him from the outside, looking in, very athletic, good on the ball, gets around, so he's in there. Alongside, in an attacking role, Diaz from Dallas. He was the most impressive number 10 that I've seen this year playing against, and very creative, good on the ball. I'm sure he'll be fantastic in the five-a-side team. Up front, I have to put my man Didier Drogba, greatest player I've played with, alongside one or two others, namely John Terry, but I think Drogba in the MLS still doing it, still a presence, still has the quality to score any kind of a goal, and he finishes off my five-a-side team. That's the end. Thank you very much again, and I'll see you next week. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube to make sure you never miss an episode of Ask Lampard.